Hi, it's Rick from Dogtooth. This is my home office, and I'm just doing a little bit of playing around on a Saturday afternoon. And I thought I'd just do a little exercise with this software, which has got a picture-in-picture webcam thing, just so you can see some of the design stuff that we do a little bit easier, and I can do it as a test. What I'm going to do is this is a typical visualization thing that we do with in Photoshop all the time. So obviously with stickers we don't need to do visualization, but a lot of the time we're working in Illustrator. But with the wall graphics side of the company, we quite often will have to illustrate what the graphic will, or the logo, or the mural will look like on the wall. So this is a typical scenario, quite an easy one just to show you. It's a flat wall. I know the proportions of that wall already. I know the size. But this is a typical kind of shot. Or can we have a mural on there, or can we have one of our graphics on there? So what I'm going to do is just show you how to do that. So this is Photoshop, which is open at the moment. As you can see, I've actually already cleaned the wall off. You can just see a little bit of a halo up here of stuff that was there, and a little bit of a reflection there. But I've cleaned the wall off just to make it a bit easier for us, and I've already pre-prepared the graphics. So I just want to show you the Photoshop side of it. Oops, that's one I did earlier. So I'm just switching to Illustrator, where I have created the graphic. So I'm just going to select that, copy it, and then I'm going to paste that into the wall. And as I said, because I know the size already, it should fit fairly well. So I'm just going to blow this up, and the reason why I blow it up bigger than it needs to be is that because it's pixels, pixels degrade, and they don't, when you blow them up, they don't get better. So it's best to have it as big as possible first, and then when you shrink it down, you get a better quality. If you go too far and then blow it back up, you get a terrible quality. So that's right. So I'm just going to press return now. So now I've got my graphic. I'm going to press Apple T or Command T. I'm not sure what the PC version is. I'm a Mac veteran, a Photoshop veteran. I have been doing this for 26 years in Photoshop, so you probably know, you young designers probably can see that I'm doing something very old-fashioned or wrong or whatever. But if you can see a better way of doing it, then please let me know. So I'm just dragging this now with Apple T or Control T. I can use the distort function, and I'm going to just drag it out to the extremities of the design. You can see there's a little bit of a curvature on the image, which is typical of most phones. You can see it there. That's probably not bent in real life, but what we can do there, just to combat that, is just go to warp, and then I'm just going to drag that down a little bit in the middle, and that will warp graphic. And I can go up a little bit as well at the top. Most lenses have a fisheye element to it. So now I've placed that in position, and it looks quite good. So I'm going to just move this. Sorry, I should pull this panel on here so you can see it. So this is the layer panel, and so there's my original image, and then this is the image that I want to paste into it. So now what I'll do is I either do two options. One is to reduce the opacity, so I can then see the table underneath it, or I go to multiply, which is generally what I'll do, is I'll multiply and I'll add it to the wall. So, but then what I want to do is, I'm still struggling to see the table underneath, because we need to see the table because we're going to cut it out. So what we can do, another option, which is to duplicate. You can't see, but I'm actually just selecting duplicate there. And I'm going to drag that over the top. And if I drag that over the top, it means I can delete. If I just, on this layer, I'm just going to move the layers out of the way, sorry. If I delete everything other than the things that are cutting into my image, which at this point in time is the table and the units there. So again, I'm guessing you could probably just, the way other people might do it is you select it. The reason why I don't like selecting is the algorithm that does the selection is not that hot, and it ends up leaving you with a bit of a halo in some places. But again, it's probably the fact that I've just been doing it that long and you get stuck in your ways of doing things. So then I'm just going to delete the image where I don't want it, just using the eraser tool here. And also the thing about the eraser tool is that it doesn't give quite as sharp an edge as if you use the selection tool, which then blends it into the image a little bit better. So just all things that help to make it look more realistic. So then get rid of that. So you can see I use a small one to start with, because if you just look, when I'm pressing shift, so I'll click in one area, which was up here, and then I press here with the shift key, and it cuts right across. But you can see here the fact that when you do a big circle, it has lots of scallops in it. So that's why I go around the item with a small version first, just so that you can get rid of it, and then when it comes to getting rid of big stuff, you could obviously select that if you wanted and do it quicker, but it's just the way I do it. So I'm going back down to a small size, just so that I get a slightly finer cut on that, and then a cut down size there, and then back up. Again, just pressing shift. I've done millions of Photoshop cutouts in my time. It's just the way I do it. So, right, so now we have our image in the room, but because the paint was actually grey, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back into that layer, and then I'm going to use the levels tool, and I'm just going to pull up the white just to make it a bit brighter. I think it'll look a bit better for that, and then switch them back on. Okay, so the issue we can see now is the fact that this is now in the old colour. So, oops, wrong layer. Switch to the top layer now. I'm just going to get rid of this bit over here, just so that it's very hard to do these things without you talking. So I've done one already, and I wanted it to be much more dynamic, Rick. But it's very hard to be dynamic and actually think about what you're doing. So anyway, so that now we have that on the wall and in situ, and basically the client can see effectively what they're going to get if they went with a mural on that wall. So that was it. So that's the Daily Dog, pretty much exactly the same time as the test one that I did, which is about 8 minutes. But sorry about that. But there you go. Okay, thank you. Bye.